What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. So the Buccaneers and the Jets got their only practice of the weekend together, and it's pretty much as expected. I feel like this had a lot of the same storylines the Carolina Panthers joint practice actually had. A dominant day, essentially, by both defenses that's littered with Pro Bowlers and all-pro caliber players across the board. Interesting comments by Aaron Rodgers, but ultimately what could have been a strong offensive day stymied a little bit by poor offensive line play. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the specifics. A couple of the people that weren't around to help out. We had Laken Tomlinson. He was out with some kind of leg injury. So we had Joe Tippmann actually getting first-team reps at left guard. Elijah Vera-Tucker still dealing with his ankle. Wes Schweitzer taking the first-team reps for him at right guard. We had Corey Davis, who was absent with a personal day. Carl Lawson absent with a back. And for the most part, I think those were all the major names that were missing for today. There were multiple fights that we got into. Mike Evans, at the core of a couple of them, from my understanding. But there was a scuffle that led to our cornerback coach, Tony Oden. I guess he might have took one to the face, something like that, but he got injured. They took him to a nearby hospital. It seems like he's okay. They said he was alert and all those kind of things. So hopefully speedy recovery to him. We don't hear from him much, but I did get to see an old not press conference. He met with Ethan Greenberg, I think, and they kind of chatted some Jets football and stuff prior to training camp really kicking off. So kind of love the vibe he gives. Pretty laid back and chill, but definitely a vital part of coaching up this secondary that we hope stands out again this year. So in terms of Aaron Rodgers, right, he says that his O-line improved, at least upon what we saw from practices the week prior and maybe some practices leading up until today. Seems like, in my opinion, it's a little bit of kind of fanning the flames a bit, but Aaron Rodgers also does have a history of kind of telling people to chill when they're panicking about certain things, and he doesn't seem like the guy so far to really bite his tongue about things he doesn't really love. So I will actually, it's one of those things that I don't think you take something that Aaron Rodgers is necessarily saying with a grain of salt. I think it makes sense, right? He hasn't had a consistent starting five offensive line, which he pointed out. And there's still plenty of time to kind of see if somebody can rise to the occasion. If not, he'll definitely get in those coaching staff meetings, I'm sure, in the offensive rooms and let them know here's what he's seeing the best of, and this is what he thinks the protection in front of him should look like. Him not being stressed out about the O-line, I think, is something that we should be adopting the same mentality. It is early. Yes, we only have a couple weeks left until the season actually kicks off. But I'd say by the end of next week, you'll start really kind of seeing things ramp up a bit, whether that's Dwayne Brown coming in to finally get some practice snaps, or whether it's AVT and Tomlinson returning and us having a consistent full offensive line to us. Them utilizing Mekhi Becton and whatever makes the most sense for us. We'll kind of see how all of those things play out for us. But ultimately today, even with all of that, at some point, we had 6 sacks and 10 dropbacks, which is outrageous, even with the defensive line that we're seeing coming our way. But there were still some good things as well. We had Aaron Rodgers throw a deep ball to kick things off on the first play to Garrett Wilson, something that we're hoping we see quite a bit of. We know they'll dominate the short and intermediate levels of the field, but that deep ball seems like it's starting to finally develop with the two. And Aaron Rodgers did mention that the biggest difference from the Panthers practice to this week with the Buccaneers is that Garrett Wilson has been back with the team, which is huge because he definitely hasn't had, the other main weapon in Corey Davis out there for us as well. Quentin Williams, again, as the defense dominated, he got himself a sack, stopped a big run on the first play, getting a run stop against the Buccaneers in that first string offense. So we're seeing the defense go out here and look like they're taking teams completely off the table, stopping the run, stopping the pass, all around great performance. So if we can get some consistent drives out of this offense to keep this defense fresh consistently, it's going to be a problem for the league. So I'm hoping we go out and we dominate again Saturday against the Buccaneers in the actual preseason game. But there was one miscommunication. Trey Palmer was able to beat out Sauce and Tony Adams for a long touchdown. From what I understand, they went and kind of talked about what the miscommunication was right away to kind of get that hammered out and make sure it didn't happen. As mentioned, Mekhi Becton, he's getting some walkthrough reps at right tackle. The thought process is that the team may be looking to start getting him some live preseason reps there, whether that's in game or just starting to initiate that in the practice. We'll see. And some final thoughts. Derek Langford, our cornerback, undrafted free agent, he finally made some noise today. He got himself an interception versus Kyle Trask. And then this Zach Wilson and Irvin Charles connection, they teamed up for a touchdown today. Seems like it's something that's starting to grow a little bit more. We haven't heard as much about Irvin Charles since the earlier days of the offseason. But he's still definitely a threat to Jason Brownlee to go out there and secure that 6th spot. And he seems like he's becoming a guy that Zach Wilson's getting pretty comfortable with when it comes to some of these big plays. So overall, let me know what you guys were thinking about this Buccaneers practice if you had a chance to watch it or check out the highlights, and I'll catch you guys again. Peace.